Today I wanted to make a very stupid video, and I didn't feel like playing Garden Warfare 2. Now I know this video is going to be extremely different, but just bear with me. This is a video I've wanted to make for a good couple months now. This video we're going to be talking about sidewalk etiquette. You're probably thinking, Fooj, what is wrong with you? Who cares about sidewalk etiquette? Why does that even matter? Why are you making this video? And the truth is, it doesn't matter. But this is a YouTube channel that I have that has an audience, and I wanted to make this video for a good couple months now, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this video. No plan, no script, nothing. I'm just gonna jump straight in. I got some stock photos. We're just gonna see how this video goes, pretty much. Now, you're probably thinking, sidewalk etiquette, what is there to talk about? It's walking on a sidewalk. It's not that difficult. Well, that's what I think. And the reason that I even got this idea in the first place, I live in Canada, right? And I live close to Niagara Falls. It's a big thing in Canada. It's a place called Clifton Hill. It just has like a bunch of like cool shit you can do. And it's like this downward slope, and like along the sides of the slope, there's just a bunch of stuff you can do. There's like arcade games, stuff like that. It's just this big like hill with stuff. And obviously there's a sidewalk that you walk to go up and down. And people on that sidewalk had the worst sidewalk etiquette I have ever seen. It was the most dysfunctional sidewalk I have ever laid my eyes upon. And that's what compelled me to even have the concept for this video in the first place. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about some stuff. I'm gonna give some examples and I'm just gonna yap. I have Canva open just because I need to like take pictures and move them like this. Okay, so this is a perfectly normal sidewalk, right? Ignore the curb. The curb doesn't really matter. Actually, it kind of does. We'll get to that later. This is person A walking on the sidewalk, right? And this is person B. They're closer to the foreground, right? This person is behind this person. I'm gonna make sure that you can actually see my mouse cursor on OBS. Give me a second. So this person's in the foreground and this person is walking behind this person. This person is on the right side of the sidewalk, right, looking at the sidewalk from this point of view. So this person's on the right, this person's on the left. Basic sidewalk etiquette would be this person to stay on the right of the sidewalk and this person to stay on the left of the sidewalk. So this person can go ahead and walk by this person if they feel like walking a little faster than this person. An extremely basic concept, right? Except some people just can't grasp that concept. Some people will either walk in the middle of the sidewalk, or if there's a person behind them or in front of them, they'll walk on the same side of the sidewalk as that person. That is improper sidewalk etiquette. If there is two people walking on a sidewalk and there's some distance between them, they should be on opposite sides of the sidewalk so that they could pass one another if they would like to do so. Now, you're probably thinking, Fooj, if you want to walk past this person, you could still walk behind them and then just move around them. While that is true, that is just uncomfortable for this person. Unless I'm just thinking about it too much, which I definitely am because I'm making a whole video on sidewalk etiquette. It's just so much easier for both parties if you stay on the opposite side of the sidewalk as the other person who you are either walking behind, or if there's a person walking behind you, just to be on the opposite side of the sidewalk. Now, this is just one stupid example. This right here gives us a great example. What do you do if there is this is a very big sidewalk, to be fair. We're just going to pretend that it's smaller. What do you do if there is two people on the sidewalk and they are taking up the entire sidewalk? This is where it gets a little bit different. Now, if you have a big sidewalk in this case, you are obviously able to just stay to one side of the sidewalk. You don't have to take up the whole sidewalk with two people in this specific case. But in the case of where you have to take up the whole sidewalk to walk side by side with someone, this would be the proper etiquette. If there is another person here, right? I'll even say two, right? We'll give it two people. If there's another two people walking on the side of the sidewalk, and they're taking up the whole sidewalk because they have to, because they're walking side by side, I would say roughly once you're this distance away, this is where I would form a single file line. You have one person behind another, and then these people would also do the same, I would assume, if they had decent sidewalk etiquette, and then you would just simply walk past them in a single file line. Once there's no people in front of you, then you can resume to being next to each other. Once I'm saying this stuff out loud, I'm realizing how stupid this video actually is. In this specific case, there's more than enough room for both parties to just... Oh, whoops. In this case, there's more than enough room for both parties to simply just walk past each other because this is a very large sidewalk. But in case there's not enough room, you form a single file line. I would say a couple meters ahead is when you should start to form your single file line. And then you simply just walk past each other to avoid that little weird shuffle that sometimes happens whenever you're walking on a sidewalk. That shuffle is the bane of my existence, which is why I want to make this video in the first place, is because when I went to Niagara Falls, that little shuffle on the sidewalk happened all the time. You know that shuffle where like you go to one side, you both are just like constantly moving to the other side, and then eventually you walk past each other? Watching this video will help you just avoid that at all costs. So yeah, in this specific case, Single file line a couple meters ahead of whenever you see other people, walk past each other, and then it's that simple. Another thing, if you have to take up the whole sidewalk whenever two people are walking next to each other, I would still recommend trying to stay to one side. In case that there is a single person that has to walk past you guys, you might not have to form a single file line, but that just depends on how big the sidewalk is. Another thing is bikes. If you are on a bike, you have to work around other people. Obviously, the people should be working with you. In my case, whenever there's a bike on the sidewalk, I recommend just get the fuck off the sidewalk, right? In 99% of cases, there's either a road you can step on for a second or grass. If there's a bike on the sidewalk, just give him the whole sidewalk. You're gonna hop on the grass, he's gonna zoom past you, and then you're gonna hop back on the sidewalk. It's gonna be that simple. Another thing, if you are also on a bike and you drive on the sidewalk, invest in a bicycle bell. There's not enough people on this planet who have a bicycle bell. And there's more people that should have bicycle bells, because if you are on a sidewalk and you want to avoid confrontation with anyone, invest in a bicycle bell. Sure, it's annoying. Sure, they're loud and obnoxious, and you kind of look like an ass whenever you ring a bicycle bell on a sidewalk. But you know what that lets people know? They get the fuck out of the way. And you know what they do? They get out of the way. Let me find like a couple more examples before I end this video. Okay, this one is very similar to the Clifton Hill situation that I was a part of, right? Just a lot of fucking people. In a case where there's a bunch of people on a sidewalk like this, the most effective strategy that I've been able to develop is to just stick in your lane. In this specific case, the gap between this person and this person is decently large, so I'm just going to be sticking to the right side of the sidewalk, and I will just stand my ground. Whenever you stand your ground and you're not moving around people, it also avoids that weird little shuffle that'll happen sometimes. A lot of the times, people will just move out of your way as well, so just sticking to one lane in the sidewalk is your best option, and also just looking for open spots on the sidewalk where you can walk. Don't be an ass while walking on the sidewalk. When I say stick your lane, I don't mean just like push through people and just hulk through everyone. Sidewalk etiquette gets very, very tricky whenever you're in a crowd of people. Etiquette kind of gets thrown out of the window a little bit, but I'm just here to give you some strategies. Stick to a lane. Sticking to a lane is the most effective way to just get through this big crowd of people, and just also look for gaps. Obviously, look for where you can walk and don't just like push through people. Big crowds of people is where it gets really, really difficult. Some of the times you can also take the strategy of just walking on the road. The walking on the road strategy obviously depends on traffic, or there's the good old walking on the grass strategy. It does vary based on a lot of different contexts. Just look for open spaces and stick to your lane in a very busy situation. I'm gonna get one more example before I wrap up this just absolutely ridiculous video. This little picture here I can talk about a little bit. This is obviously a very big sidewalk. This is a ginormous sidewalk, and you shouldn't even need to watch this video in order to know how to actually use this sidewalk effectively, because it's just so ginormous. You have so many options. Now I'm gonna go ahead and point out a couple options. You have the awkward option in this case, right? There's 3 people right here. They're taking up a very large portion of the sidewalk. I'm gonna make the assumption that you are walking towards them, like directly in front, right? I'm taking it from the camera's point of view right now. You can either do the awkward option, which would be walk on the tree side. The reason that this is the awkward option is because you're walking with the trees, you're not really on the sidewalk itself. But the tree option should work perfectly fine. And then you have the, just normal option. Move to the left side of the sidewalk where there's actually room to walk, as you can see right here. Now, in this specific case, you are outnumbered. Numbers play a huge part in sidewalk etiquette in terms of who gets priority of what. I'm treating this like it's a fucking video game because that's all it is in my head. In this case, you are outnumbered 3-1. In this specific case, you move to the left side of the sidewalk. They have no reason to move because it's more people moving than if you were just to get the fuck out of the way. That's another thing with 2 people on the sidewalk as well. If 2 people take up the whole sidewalk, it's not improper sidewalk etiquette for them to not form a single file line if there's only 1 person there. If you are a single person walking on the sidewalk and you see 2 people ahead of you also walking on the sidewalk, it is up to you to move around them because you are outnumbered. In this specific case, you move to the left side of the sidewalk and let these fine folks just walk right past you. That's one thing I forgot to mention. Numbers make all the difference in sidewalk etiquette. In this case, if I also had 3 in my party, I would be the type of person to also just move out of the way with my 3 instead of waiting for them to move, because I think about shit like sidewalk etiquette and they're probably thinking about some like business discussion or something significantly more important, while I'm over here thinking about sidewalk etiquette and how we're actually gonna just like navigate this shit. I would try to avoid the awkward option, which would be on the tree side. Now the camera is cut off right here, so maybe there's a person here or something and you can't really move directly without just walking directly behind the person. Also something that you should never fucking do on a sidewalk. Establish some distance between you and the person in front of you or the person behind you. Another thing that's like kinda iffy, maybe I'm just like stupid, don't just like speed walk past people on the sidewalk. What kind of fucking hurry are you into right now? Unless you have a family member at home who is currently dying on the ground, don't speed walk past people on the sidewalk unless they're walking like absurdly slow. But if they're going a normal pace, like chill, dude. Anyway, I've yapped for 17 minutes here. Not sure how long this video is going to be. This was just such a stupid fucking video, so I apologize for everyone who had to watch this. I wanted to make a sidewalk etiquette video for a good little minute now. So yeah, we made a sidewalk etiquette video. Let me know if you want more just stupid fucking videos like this, because there's so much more I could talk about. Even with sidewalk etiquette specifically. I'm going to make a part 2 to this video soon. But yeah, you know, learn how to walk on the sidewalk, avoid those awkward shuffles at all times. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Sayonara.